Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday, August 1st. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennett, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Starbucks is the latest chain to feel the wrath of inflation. Last quarter, their sales were down 3% globally, and now it's time for drastic measures. With companies like McDonald's also seeing a sales decrease this year, how is Starbucks looking to get us back on that drip? Hopefully, it has to do with the new Frappuccino flavor. We'll get to that in a bit, but first, let's give you the hits and headlines today in business and tech. To start us off, Boeing named Kelly Ortberg, former CEO of aerospace supplier Rockwell Collins, as its new CEO and posted a $1.4 billion second quarter loss, all in one fell swoop. Next, speaking of airline losses, Delta CEO Ed Bastian said that this month's IT outage will cost the company $500 million in lost revenue and compensation for canceled flights and hotel stays. Next, Washington, D.C.'s Attorney General is suing StubHub, alleging that the company has sold nearly 5 million tickets to customers in the district since 2015 that carried $118 million in hidden fees, so Ticketmaster ain't the only one on the block. Over to Xbox. Revenue from sales of Microsoft's gaming console dropped 42% year over year in Q2, and while that's quite bad, it's at least not very new. Xbox hardware sales have shown an annual decline in 6 of the last 7 quarters. And finally, Taco Bell plans to launch AI in hundreds of U.S. drive-thrus this year. Parent company Yum Brands says its 2-year test of the tech found improved accuracy, speed, and profits. So, Juliet, what do you think of this AI integration in Taco Bell?
I would love to see it work. I haven't been to a drive-thru in probably a decade, because they don't let you walk through it.
They don't.
And I don't have a car. But I will say that of the TikToks I've seen where people have gone to the McDonald's AI drive-thru, and McDonald's is done with its testing for now, it did not work. It was very confusing.
Yeah.
I would love to see this roll out. I would love to see how Taco Bell is able to implement it. And if it works, or if it's like 55 hot dogs, 55 burgers, I didn't order that,
Yeah, as we've seen, we talked about it on the show as well, that McDonald's just discontinued their testing of the AI stuff. And I don't know if it's coming back anytime soon, but Taco Bell seems to be pushing ahead. I consider Taco Bell quite an innovator in the space, if not with recipes, with everything else. It just keeps slinging really cool, interesting ways to make a quesadilla. So I hope that they will continue innovating this way as well, and we'll see if it works.
Yes, and I would love to see employees have more time to do some of the more innovative things that Taco Bell does, because I think Taco Bell is really great at being a brand that people like and want to go to its resort or get married at its chapel.
Yeah.
And I would love it if, employees really had time to lean into that.
Absolutely. Okay, on to the main story today. Today, we're taking a close look at Starbucks' current situation. Global sales are down, prices are going up due to inflation, and people are less interested to spend money these days. So how is Starbucks going to get us all hooked again? But first, Juliet, can we talk more about this Starbucks dip that we've been seeing?
Yeah, this is the second quarter in a row where they've had a little bit of a dip. Global sales were down 3% last quarter. In North America, total transactions for stores open at least 1 year dropped about 6%. Now, if you think about why this might be happening, I think this is something that's happening more broadly across a lot of similar stores. Today's Starbucks is more akin to a fast food restaurant than your local coffee shop or cafe, the place that you might go every morning. You know the barista, you get a muffin, you get a coffee, you sit down. It's not like that anymore. It's a fast food place, essentially. And McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, all of them are experiencing this sort of push to offer more of a value because people, with inflation being so high, are starting to pull back on this type of spending.
Yeah, exactly. And we've talked about it a lot recently about how McDonald's went to their $5 meal deal and it hasn't really given them the returns that they wanted yet, I guess. But it seems like a lot more companies in the fast food sector, at Starbucks, as you said, is pretty much one of them, are looking to kind of make their offerings a little more valuable for a little bit less to customers nowadays.
Right. And that makes sense because when you think about fast food, when you think about Starbucks, you're thinking about getting food that is, it's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Generally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get someone having a craving for McDonald's fries or just a simple hamburger or even a Starbucks latte. But at the end of the day, I think we all know that there are better places to get food and coffee. And so the appeal and the value proposition here is that it's cheap and it's fast and you go in, you get it, and you don't spend a lot of money. But if it is none of those things and also expensive, then
Why are we
what's the
doing
point?
it?
You might as well make it at home or go somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah, because in Manhattan, a lot of the Starbucks around here have converted to just windows instead of like a full store experience. And now it's more like a mobile app, like just order it on the app and pick it up type of situation. And that's really what the business has converted to.
Right.
But what are some ways that Starbucks is looking to kind of change this and get back on track and, give everybody their, I was going to say delicious coffee, but I don't really like it too much, but their coffee again.
Well, the first thing that they're doing is a new pairings menu, and that is right in line with these fast food restaurants that we just talked about. McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Burger King, they've all got a $5 menu. That is a meal for $5, depending on whether or not you would consider that an actual value for your health and digestive system. That remains to be seen, but it is $5. And Starbucks is going to have the same thing. It's called a pairings menu. It's going to range from $5 to $6, and you're going to be able to get a drink and a breakfast item. And I will say, as somebody who does not frequently go to Starbucks, if I was in a hurry and I knew I could get one of those little bacon Gouda sandwiches and like a cold brew or something for $5, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Fine.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not very good for the microbiome, but very good for the wallet.
Right. So that's thing number one. And that makes perfect sense for Starbucks right now, considering everything that is going on. The next thing, I actually found this to be weirdly interesting for something that's not that interesting. It is called the Siren Craft System, and it results in several small little changes. And I was reading a blog that Starbucks put out about the Siren system, which are all these changes and tech upgrades that they started implementing in 2022. And the Siren Craft System seems to just be an extension of that. And the changes are so small, and yet apparently that's where we're at. We are shaving seconds off of how long it takes to make a latte, because when you're making that many drinks, the seconds apparently matter a lot. So here are some of the changes. There is a digital dashboard that will predict busy times so supervisors can strategize how they're going to deal with those busy times.
Okay.
There's a new role, the peak play caller, which is apparently kind of like a swing position where you have more flexibility. You don't have to be at your station. You can kind of go wherever you're needed. Those are two more managerial things. But the other changes have to do with how the drinks are made. Apparently, Starbucks baristas will pull the espresso and then steam the milk. Now they're switching that around because it takes less time to steam the milk than pull the espresso, because the espresso will stay hot and it won't cool while you're steaming the milk. Instead of making cold drinks first, even though cold drinks are more popular and now comprise of more orders than hot drinks, they're going to flop the order. So now they're making the hot drinks first. Those are faster. They're easier to prepare. They're often simpler. And that also cuts down time, apparently. But it also serves this logical reason, which is if, let's say, you order a Frappuccino, but your friend gets a hot latte and you're sitting there with your Frappuccino waiting on the latte, the Frappuccino is going to get melty. They also, and this one is actually such a no-brainer, apparently they have new ingredient dispensers and they're all lined up on the counter. So you don't have employees bending over looking for the whipped cream in the cooler. This just, if you have ever worked in a bar, this is basically your well. And this is how you make a lot of drinks when it's busy.
I was going to say, yeah, like the well liquor essentially right at the bottom. It seems like a lot of these are adjustments, very slight adjustments.
Right?
But I feel like they might add up a little bit in terms of the speed. And that's what it seems like they're really focused on here is, we talked about that one quick $5 to $6 meal deal thing, but it sounds like they're really, really focused on the fast in fast food nowadays.
Yes, and it makes so much sense. Like I can tell you firsthand the difference between working in a bar that has a well that you don't even look at because it's vodka gin run to get whatever. You don't even look at the bottle. You got the gun in one hand, you got the whatever. You can serve an entire line of people out the door on St. Patrick's Day and not even think about it. And to put that logic into a Starbucks makes absolute sense. Now you're talking the morning rush hour. You're not even thinking about what you're grabbing. You know exactly where it is. And when you think about how quickly these people are moving, now you're getting some of that value back because now it's like, well, I know I can go to Starbucks and I know I can get a $5 meal and I know I'm going to be out in 5 minutes.
Right.
And I know that the person making it isn't going to be stressed and freaking out and throwing around 9,000 bottles of syrups because someone on TikTok decided to put out a 32 ingredient Frappuccino that everyone has to try now. It just makes sense. Any minute changes you can make to make people happier and faster so that at the end of the transaction, it's somebody being like, here's your latte in 3 minutes. And also, I don't look like I'm miserable to be here.
Yes. And there's also some kind of sales path in there that is when a customer enters your store, especially like a Starbucks or something like that, that is kind of a treat, like a latte, I don't know, like an iced Frappuccino. I do like an iced Frappuccino.
Right.
When you go in there for something like that, you're being bad.
Yes.
It's not something that you should have. It's like, what a nice like little gift for myself for doing something today, or like get myself going today. You walk in, the more time you have to think about it, you probably will walk out.
Oh, yeah.
But you walk in, and if it's ready, done, and there within 2 seconds, it's easy. You just take it, you pay for it, and you go. So I think that's probably another angle as to why they're being so fast, because, you get it, you go, and it becomes reliable.
Right, absolutely. And I have 100% left, not just Starbucks, but other coffee shops, because I get in there, there's 6 people in front of me, and the person at the counter is like, let's see, what do you have here? Let me ask you, what is in a latte? And I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I got to go. I got to go to the gym. This was supposed to be a pick-me-up on the way to the gym. I'm not going to it's going to take a half an hour. I got to go. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like you're giving the people what they want.
Exactly.
Which is in a changing world where you're not sitting down and hanging out at a Starbucks. Like this is exactly what it is that people want.
Right. Yeah. The people want cheap, fast, delicious. And it sounds like they're moving to offer that more so. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next quarter or two, but I would like to see if there's any sort of improvement, because as I mentioned earlier, McDonald's has not seen an improvement yet from offering cheaper meals.
Yeah.
But hopefully they will as well, because it would be really nice to keep that around for, me.
Yeah, exactly. And, if you do read some of the pieces about this, especially the one in Business Insider that's talking about Starbucks' new siren system, they actually talked to someone that works with the unions, Michelle Eisen, who is a Starbucks barista and union organizer, which, that's another thing that's new for Starbucks, unionization.
Yeah.
It used to be, oh my God, working at Starbucks is like the greatest, entry-level customer service job you can have. And now they're like, we're miserable. We're unionizing. We hate TikTok drinks.
Right.
And she was saying, to Business Insider, she said, there used to be an element of fun to being a Starbucks barista. It was amazing to have the time to talk to customers and sample new products with them and get to know what their tastes were. So anything we can do to bring that third place atmosphere back into the stores would be nice to see. So there you have it. There's at least one person out there who's all on board with this.
Yeah, who wants Starbucks to remain a cafe and not a fast food restaurant. But unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be the latter.
Yeah, I guess the ultimate question for me is, does the faster drink give the barista more time to talk to the customer? Or is it going to be like endless growth, more and more and more people?
Right. Or is it like, give me my drink, I got to get to work?
Yeah. Or is it going to be like, oh, this is Nancy and I get coffee from her every day. Nancy, how's the kids? That's the question. Are we moving more towards automation, or are these simple changes that aren't robots moving us back towards, this is a cool little neighborhood spot that I go to? I don't know.
I wonder. All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you tomorrow.